supposed to do. But I contend that the evaluation of historical events is not enough. It can be just as important to investigate policies, decisions, and technologies that were considered at the highest levels, but then nixed for a variety of reasons. The intent of historical actors can be, and I argue is, far more instructive and illuminating than focusing entirely on the outcome of their policies. Outcome history is the traditional way of viewing historical events, but it leaves much to be desired. It has severe limitations, primarily because its lessons are predicated on things that cannot be accurately quantified. Fate, luck, misfortune, whatever you want to call it. If the D-Day invasion of Normandy had failed because of a freak weather system, or a lucky shot from a German soldier that took out a key American leader on the beach, or any number of other misfortunate scenarios, would we think any less of Eisenhower's plan? Using outcome-based history? Yes. And therein lies the problem. Intent can be a very powerful tool for historians. So leave your historical hindsight at the door. Ignore the fact that these policies, technologies, programs, and missions were scrapped before they became real. To get the most out of this book, you should heed the advice of Master Yoda. You must unlearn what you have learned. The outcomes of the programs are inconsequential to the overall message of the narrative. Outcome really doesn't matter here at all. That's why this book scorns the counterfactual, the game of what if, vilifies it, mocks it mercilessly. The counterfactual is our enemy. We will not what if ourselves until we are blue in the faces, trying to rewrite history into a hodgepodge of ahistorical nonsense. Deep breath. I might have taken that a little too far. Counterfactuals can be a lot of fun. When you're hanging out with your friends and family, debating the what-ifs of the Kennedy assassination, or the Civil War, or the Protestant Reformation, or the Star Wars prequels, or the 1986 World Series, I forgive you, Bill Buckner. Mostly. I'd be happy to join you all one day for a vigorous debate on historical counterfactuals, perhaps over your favorite adult beverage or a bottle of Yoo-hoo, but they have no place here. Instead, all of these stories should have you saying, what were they thinking? The best way to approach this book was with an open mind toward how the decision makers were approaching the problems facing them. In almost every case, those in power were desperate to do something, anything, to combat their adversaries. Thus, what were they thinking is exactly correct. Except I hope that you will be willing to truly embrace the question, and not just see it as a dismissive aside or hasty pejorative. In all of these stories, very intelligent people were willing to do anything, or just about anything, to achieve or maintain national power. This resulted in extreme, outside-the-box thinking, but not so extreme that it changes the fact that these were serious people making life-and-death decisions. Their intent is just as important as their actions, and that's why this task at hand matters. It offers a unique, unusual opportunity to put us, the reader, the historian, in the mindset of the historical figures, and to understand the unique and daunting challenges they faced. In some cases, this gives us an unconventional perspective on familiar figures. You might never see historic figures such as John F. Kennedy, Dwight Eisenhower, Winston Churchill, Franklin Roosevelt, or even Carl Sagan the same way again. In other cases, these stories resurface fascinating figures left in the dustbin of history, who might be household names had their ideas panned out. The book is organized into 4 parts, each with its own theme, but all full of stories centered on the desperation that was the product of the sheer terror of World War II or the ideological fervor and suspicion of the Cold War. In each case, the originators of these ideas truly believed their very existence was at stake, and their desperation led to some interesting choices. Part 1 focuses on our furry and feathered friends of the animal kingdom, who have endured more than we could ever imagine, all for our benefit, and all because they were willing to do jobs we wouldn't or couldn't. You know how when a movie uses animals, a Air Bud, a Turner and Hooch, a Dunstan checks in, there's a disclaimer during the credits that says, no animals were harmed in the making of this film? Well, that's not the case in part 1. The animals in these stories were cut open, wired up, run over, set on fire, blown to pieces, dropped unconscious from thousands of feet, infected with biological pathogens, painted with caustic and likely carcinogenic paint, and shoved inside tactical nuclear weapons, all in the name of national security. Part 2 centers on the